Vaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudire Nashtuprayeshu Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttam Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Nashtiki. So, continuing with the discussion on Srimad Bhagavatam, first canto, second chapter, text 9 onwards. So, Sud Goswami is further explaining about dharma. So, yesterday we discussed the verse dharma sunishtita punsa vishwaksen katha suya na utpade yadiratim shram evhi kevalam. So now Sud Goswami is saying, dharma se hi apavargasya na artho arthaya upkalpate na arthasya dharma ekantasya kamo labhaya hi smritaha. All occupational engagements are certainly meant for ultimate liberation. So the purpose of dharma is for ultimate liberation. They should never be performed for material gain. Like these days, it's in very much fashion. There's 4 purushartha, which is dharma, artha, kama, and moksha. So if you do some religious activity, it leads to artha. Artha means some monetary gains. But Bhagavatam says all dharma should be meant for ultimate liberation, never be performed for material gain. Furthermore, according to sages, one who is engaged in the ultimate occupation service should never use material gain to cultivate sense gratification. Na arthaya upkalpate, na arthasya dharmekantasya kamo lavahi smritaha. Means even if somebody is engaged in dharma, but he gets some material gain, he should never use it for sense gratification. Many points in this verse. First one is dharmasya hi apavargasya. Now, what is the meaning of apavarga? Apavarga. Prabhupada has explained at the places, like in Sanskrit grammar or Hindi grammar, we have pavarg. Pavarg means pa, fa, ba, bha, ma. So these are in per category, means the sound that comes from the lips. These are the 5 letters in per varga. It's called varga, category, per category. Pa, fa, ba, bha, ma. So in the material world, for the material world is considered as pavarga. Pavarga means pa stands for parishram, means labor, lots of labor. A person does lots of labor. Pa, and then fa. Fa stands for foam or fena, means like a donkey. If he is working very hard, from his mouth comes all this foam because he is working very hard. Pa, fa, then comes ba. Ba means Byartha. Prabhupada, in his Bengali accent, he explained Byartha. Byartha means it's all useless actually. All this extra or excess labor one does. Pa, fa, ba, bha. Bha stands for bhai, means he's always afraid of other things, like somebody might come steal my money, I might get sick, I'll lose this money, I'll lose the relationships. And then in the end, pa, fa, ba, bha, ma, it ends with ma means mrityu, death. So this is pa varga. Pa varga is a material world. Everybody is working so hard, they are foaming from their mouth, and it is useless labor because in the end you don't gain anything. But throughout working so hard, one is always afraid. Bhai, he is always afraid, and everything ends in mrityu, death. So whatever we have gained, it all ends up. But the spiritual world is called apavarga. Apavarga means it is beyond this pavarga. There is no parishram, no foaming from the mouth, no bhaya, no mrityu, and it's not useless labor. So spiritual world, everything, every activity, every thought is blissful. It gives us lots of bliss. So that is spiritual world. That's why it's called apavarga. So that's why Sudha Goswami is saying all occupational engagements are certainly meant for ultimate liberation. So that is the ultimate liberation. Okay, let's see what in the purport Prabhupada is writing. We have already discussed that pure devotional service to the Lord is automatically followed by perfect knowledge and detachment from material existence. But there are others who consider that all kinds of different occupational engagements, including those of religion, are meant for material gain. The general tendency of any ordinary man in any part of the world is to gain some material profit in exchange for religious or any other occupational service. So they are always looking for some monetary profit. Why are such so-called men of religion allured by material gain? Because material gain can enable one to fulfill desires, which in turn satisfies sense gratification. So ultimately, all this material gain that we are looking for is basically for our sense gratification. If somebody, I mean, there's nothing wrong with making money. Nobody says that. But getting attached to that money and getting attached to sense gratification thereof, that's where the problem is. Just like recently we studied in Bhagavad Gita also, no? Bhogeshwarya prasakta nam teya paratta chetasam vyasayatmika buddhi samadhuna vidhiyate. Means one who is attached to bhog and aishwarya, material opulence and sense gratification. In his mind, he cannot get connected or attraction for devotional service does not take place. This cycle of occupational engagements includes so many so-called religiosity followed by material gain and material gain followed by fulfillment of desires, dharma, artha and kam. But hardly anybody then goes for moksha. So that's why when we were discussing the second verse of Bhagavatam, where it is said that dharma projita katava atra, means from this Srimad Bhagavatam, all these cheating religions are completely kicked out. Cheating religion means religious practices which leads or which attaches one more and more to sense gratification. Because that sense gratification binds one to the material world. Means we are going to take birth again and again. But this is not the purpose of Srimad Bhagavatam or the dharma mentioned in Srimad Bhagavatam. That's what Sudha Goswami says, the dharma is, the ultimate aim of dharma is perfect ultimate liberation, apavarga. Apavarga is only in the spiritual world. So Prabhupada writes, one should not engage himself in any sort of occupational service for material gain only, nor should material gain be utilized for sense gratification. How material gain should be utilized is described as follows, means in the next verse. Next verse is, Kamasya na indriya pritir labho jiveta yavata, jivasya tattva jigyasa, nartho yasche karmabhi. Life's desires should never be directed towards sense gratification. One should desire only a healthy life or self-preservation. Since a human being is meant for inquiring about the absolute truth, nothing else should be the goal of one's works. So nothing else except inquiring about the absolute truth. Jivet tattva jigyasa. Tattva jigyasa means we have to try to find out, inquire about this absolute truth. Who is it? What is it? And about myself also. Who am I? Where did I come from? What's my relationship with the Supreme Absolute? But these days, 99.99% of population is only interested in activities of sense gratification. That's where the problem is. And nobody wants to inquire about the absolute truth. Like Prabhupada in previously he said, no, everybody is inquiring. Everybody is asking questions. Birds, when they get up in the morning, they ask questions. And when they whole day they're asking questions. And when they go to sleep, before sleep also they're asking questions. And similarly, people in the stock market asking questions, in the market they're asking questions, and at job they're asking questions. Everybody's asking questions. But what kind of question should be? And Sudha Goswami says, all the sages, your questions are very beautiful because they uplift everybody else. So these are the questions one should be asking. But in sense gratification, everybody is asking for how I can be more pleased. And basically what do you say, the the sign of sense gratification is how much money one has. I mean, if I have more money, means I'll be more happy, although not really seen, because more money one has is when he is more afraid of others who might come and take the money away or cheat him for more and more money. So he is more troubled. But this has become the benchmark of happiness these days. More money I have, it doesn't matter how I got this money, by hook or by crook. But this is the benchmark. This is my standard of happiness. But this is not what it is. In purport, Prabhupada writes, the completely bewildered material civilization is wrongly directed towards the fulfillment of desires in sense gratification. In such civilization, in all spheres of life, the ultimate end is sense gratification. In politics, social service, altruism, philanthropy, and ultimately in religion or even in salvation, the very same tint of sense gratification is ever increasingly predominant. In the political field, the leaders of men fight with one another to fulfill their personal sense gratification. The voters adore the so-called leaders only when they promise sense gratification. As soon as the voters are dissatisfied in their own sense gratification, they dethrone the leaders. So if some political leader or even in our companies, if some manager comes, he promises us good pay, good raises, good bonuses, we like that person. Okay, we'll work very hard for you. But in the end, if he doesn't keep up with this promise, or he cannot keep up with this promise, okay, the management, the higher management, they move him, and that's it. And then the new person comes, he promises something, then we work very hard. Again, parishram and fena and ba and bha and ma. This all goes on in the material world. Similarly, in the political field, some leader comes, okay, I'll give you this, and this, that. Yes, we all vote for him. We feel very protected, very secured under his leadership. So if he's there, we will enjoy more. If he's not there, then other person will come and they will bring out some policies where we cannot enjoy. So ultimately, basically, it brings down to, if I'm going to enjoy, if I think I'll be more happy under this person, we'll go for that leader. That's all. But this should not be the case for human life. Human life is for Jive Tattva Jigyasa, one who can help me in going towards the ultimate goal of life. That should be the proper leader. But since it is Kali Yuga, it's basically not going to happen. Although according to Manu Samhita, a leader, a political leader or a king of a country, he should be taking all the population towards on the path of dharma. That's his real role, real duty. And if he doesn't, then he takes 1/6 of the karma of the whole population. Negative. So it's a matter of big responsibility for the leaders, and any leader for that matter. If it's not the leader of the country, if it's a leader of say one state, then he takes the karma of people of that state. If he's a leader of one city, he takes a karma of the people of that city, if he doesn't take them on the path of dharma. If he is leader of maybe one little community or one little street, then he takes their karma. And if somebody is the leader of a house, if he doesn't take people dependent on him on the path of dharma, he has to take their karma. Because leadership position is very, very big responsibility. But these days, leadership has become, I just want to enjoy. I don't care what happens later on. Now I got votes, now I got the power for next 4 or 5 years. I just want to enjoy. But they don't understand that, just like Prabhupada explained in one of his talks, that our previous Prime Minister, Jawaharlal Nehru, after his death, he had to take the birth in the body of a dog in Sweden in a family which already had one more dog. And this is what Prabhupada said. How he knew, this is what Prabhupada, he knows lots of things that we cannot even imagine. And he particularly mentioned a dog in the body of a dog in Sweden, in a family which already has one more dog. So this dog, the soul when it was in the body of Jawaharlal Nehru, now he had to share the love of the family with another dog. So this can happen to a leader. So we have to be very careful. So idea is for us to go on the path of dharma and to take the dependence on the path of dharma, then we are considered a right leader. And this is what Prabhupada writes towards the end. In every sphere of life, therefore, the ultimate end must be seeking after the absolute truth. And that sort of engagement will make one happy because he will be less engaged in varieties of sense gratification. And what that absolute truth is explained as follows. So last verse for today's theme. Vadanti tattva tattva vidas tattvam yajnanam advayam brahmeti paramatmeti bhagwaniti shabdyate. Learned transcendentalists who know the absolute truth call this non-dual substance Brahman, Paramatma or Bhagwan. The absolute truth is both subject and object, and there is no qualitative difference there. Therefore, Brahman, Paramatma and Bhagwan are qualitatively one and the same. The same substance is realized as impersonal Brahman by the students of the Upanishads, as localized Paramatma by the Hiranyagarbhas or the yogis, and as Bhagwan by the devotees. In other words, Bhagwan is the last word of the absolute truth. Paramatma is partial representation of the personality of Godhead, and impersonal Brahman is the glowing effulgence of the personality of Godhead. And Prabhupada has given the example of sun rays, sun planet, and sun god. So person is Bhagwan, or we can compare it to sun god, and Paramatma feature is like sun planet, and sun rays are like Brahm Jyoti. But the final word or final position is of Bhagwan, because without presence of Bhagwan, the person Bhagwan, there is no chance of Brahm Jyoti, because Brahm Jyoti is the effulgence of the body of Bhagwan. And Paramatma is localized aspect of Bhagwan in everywhere. Every atom in the heart of every person, that's a localized aspect of Bhagwan. But Bhagwan, without the presence of Bhagwan, nothing is possible. The living being in contact with inferior energies illusion, thinking he belongs to inferior. Therefore, there is a sense of relativity in the material world. In the absolute, there is no such sense of difference between the knower and the known, and therefore everything there is absolute. So there is no difference between the knower and the known. So absolute truth, so that's what the absolute truth, because every transcendentalist, according to his own level of realization, he will see the absolute truth in different aspects. So some see him as Brahm Jyoti, because they cannot go beyond that. Some see them as Paramatma, and some who are the topmost transcendently, they see him as Bhagwan himself. But when they see Bhagwan, they know the other aspects of Bhagwan also. Then they know him in complete truth. So I'll stop here and ask if anybody has any questions or comments. I think when you are at work or at home the whole day, then you should at least go through the purports, whatever we study. Then it will retain in the mind. Yes, Shashwati Mataji, you have a question? Or rather,
No, Prabhuji, I don't have a question. Actually, I have a request. I mean, if it is possible, can we shift the Super trip to next week or something? Because I believe it's the financial year closing, and most of the devotees from our office, their husbands are pretty occupied with the financial year closing thing. So they were asking if we can shift it to the next week, then they can come ahead. So if it is possible for you and for others, I know some arrangements would have been done, but if it is possible, then can we? I mean,
we can discuss. Let's
okay,
see.
Prabhu. Thank you, Prabhu.
Sure, Mata. Any other question or comment? So we'll stop here. Thank you all very much. Have a wonderful day. Jai Srila Prabhupada.
Jai Shri Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.